welcome back to another episode of the Whiskey Diaries. My name is Pat Lang and today we're going to do a single rare bottling. This particular one is part of the book series that is from Laphroaig. This is book number 1 and you can access this through the Friends of Laphroaig. This one in particular talks about the Ian Hunter story. Ian Hunter is the distillery manager that was the manager from 1900s till 1930s. It goes into heavy detail about the whiskey inside, and it tells the story about how this gentleman actually was the first one of the first distilleries in Scotland to use American oak, and how he got around about selling Laphroaig in America. This is actually quite fun because if anybody tasted Laphroaig already, everybody knows how medicinal it tastes and how actually basically tastes like going to the to a hospital. Now, in the between 1920s and 1933, America went through a period which was prohibition. Prohibition was a period is alcohol was completely illegal in America. Now, Laphroaig was one of the only spirits, I think it was Laphroaig and then cognac, that it was legally being able to sell as a medicinal purpose. So you can go to the pharmacy and buy like little jugs or little apothecary jugs of Laphroaig in America because it tasted so medicinal that at the time Americans thought that it was actually tasted like medicine. So Ian Hunter was the one who actually did that, and he kept going to America back and forth. Apparently, that obviously doing all those trips, he was getting familiarized with bourbon or American whiskey at the time that got aged in American oak. When he went back to the distillery, he decided to actually start aging whiskey in American oak. Now, nowadays, most whiskeys get aged in American oak because of the legislation about how to make bourbon happens. So American oak is actually quite accessible, but back in the day it was rare. It was more about using sherry oak or Spanish or European oak more than anything else. Now, this whiskey is available through Friends of Laphroaig. If you don't know what Friends of Laphroaig is, I really recommend you to do it. Each bottle of Laphroaig that you ever buy, comes with a little label. That label, you can actually open it and it has a number. You can go online and put that number and create an account, and it actually gives you a lot of land. Now, I think it's 1 square meter of land. Now, the reason why this happened is because in the early 1900s, Laphroaig actually had a fight with Lagavulin about the source of the water. The source of the water is really, really important for Laphroaig and to make any sort of whiskies. And to guarantee that Laphroaig has access to that water, the distillery started buying plot of land all around the river just to make sure that they get access to this water. Now, this plot of land is given away as a kind of like honorary way of them keeping that land, and you get access to an actual plot of land. The great story about that one as well is you actually get to go to Scotland and you go to the distillery itself. They actually give you a shovel and a little flag, and you go and you put your flag and your name into that plot of land. I actually did it myself. I had the certificate for it. It's actually awesome. Obviously, you don't own the land or anything like that, but it's actually a really, really good story. Anyway, this bottle, when this series is only available to buy through Friends of Laphroaig, so you have to go online. Now, it comes in an excellent packaging, obviously like a book, and then you open it, and then if you can see here on the camera, you get like a little book. It tells you all the history about Hunter and all his escapades and everything that he did for the distillery itself. And then you get it into a nice little book. It looks like basically like prohibition. People used to hide alcohol in the bottles, in the books. So then you just take it out. Hard enough. There it goes. That's the bottle itself. Now, the whiskey itself. It's 30 years. Got distilled in 1987. It's 30 years, 100% American oak, just in obviously honoring Ian Hunter, and it's obviously no chill filtering, cask strength, straight out of the barrel, so 46.7%. And one of the things that they say in Islay is just the difference in temperature actually allows the cask to breathe a lot. So in winter it goes to like -3 degrees, and in summer it goes to 17 degrees. So the ancient shares comes and goes a lot. So it allows the whiskey to breathe. There we go. It's a 30-year-old. And what you can smell from this whiskey besides delicious, obviously there's a lot of honey for some reason. I'm assuming this is from American oak. Obviously you get that iodine and the smoke that you get from Laphroaig. That's a classic standard. And holy moly, this is a delicious whiskey. Definitely a lot of sweetness. You get the toughness, but you get that, like when a whiskey gets, where the smoky whiskey gets aged for this long, the smoke instead of being like a sharp smoke, it's almost like a hot, like a warm smoke. It's actually delicious. If you get yourself around to this whiskey, I highly recommend it. Hopefully you enjoy this story, and we'll see you next time. Slàinte mhath.